Hey there, I'm Stephanie Nchege, visionary coach and author. And today I got a question for you. Have you ever allowed fear to block you from achieving something that you really wanted in life? I want you to think about that for a moment. Has there ever been a time in your life where you allowed fear to stop you from achieving something that you really wanted in your life? If the answer to that question is yes, then make sure you stay tuned because I'm going to give you 5 strategies to help you overcome fear and not to be blocked any longer. Does that sound good? So I'm going to share with you 5 quick and effective tips to help you overcome fear. I would bet that fear and love are 2 of our most common emotions that we all can connect to, that we all can relate to, that have some significant life experience moments that we can go back to and remember a time when we may have felt overwhelmed or felt an extreme fear. It's something that we all too often know about. Fear can be such a debilitating and life blocker. Let me say that again. Fear can be such a debilitating and life blocker. There is fear of success, there's fear of failure, there are fear of heights, extreme fears of so many different things that block us from obtaining the success, the life that we want. And the list goes on and on and on. I myself personally battled an extreme fear for many years. And I share in detail in my book, An Interview with God, how my life was not fulfilled, my life was not satisfying. It was kind of stuck. And it was because of the fear that I had allowed to come in. I share about, though, how I started realizing that I'm not going to be defined by these fears. Do you know that some scientists say that there are so many fears, extreme fears, that we can't even keep up with the number of them because they're ever emerging every single day? Think about that. A new fear ever emerging every single day. So myself, I was battling what's called thanatophobia. Say that 5 times. Thanatophobia. And that was a fear of death. And I share in my book how that fear, it just debilitated me. And finally, I started having to face my fear. And I used some of the same tips and techniques that I'm going to share with you today. Those 5 techniques that I share with my clients, my coaching clients, to help them get unstuck, to help them move forward so that they can have the life that they want. So let's jump right in. Number 1, live in the now. Live in the now. So many times we are thinking about our past, things that have overwhelmed us, things that we may have failed or felt we failed at, things that hung us up. And we look to our past and we get stuck there. Or maybe you spend time in the future. Can I have that? Can I do this? And then you start listening to these old internal messages and saying, no, I can't go to that future that I want. Instead of looking at today, what is going on today? What do you have right now? What are the resources that you have right now? That's going to lead me into tip number 2. When you start, I want to intertwine those 2. When you start living in the present, when you start looking at what you have, you will give thanks. That's tip number 2. Give thanks. Guess what? You cannot give thanks and experience fear, anger, or any other emotion as a matter of fact, when you're giving thanks. So if you start to give thanks for the present, for the things that you have, for the blessings that you have, it will help to abate the fear. Number 3, affirm. Positive affirmations. Declare who God has said that you are. Start declaring who you will be. Start declaring what is inside of you. Start looking for those affirmations of your strength and your gifts and your talents, and speak those affirmations to yourself daily. We have to speak life. We have to affirm life. Number 4. We're moving right along. Number 4, get a mentor or a coach. Sometimes when we're stuck, we need an outside mentor or coach to help us get a little more clarity on those things that have been our life blockers. Life blockers. That's what fear can do. And so with a mentor, a good mentor and coach, they can listen. They can help you do brainstorming. You know, a lot of my clients come to me and they don't even realize how tied up into the past, into old fears, into old internal messaging that they are. And so then we're able to go through some specific things to help them become unstuck. I'm not sure if that's a correct word, but we're going to use it. And finally, number 5, take action. You've heard the saying, do it afraid. It doesn't matter if you have fear. What matters is that you're not going to allow the fear to stop you. Do it afraid. Look at the picture like this. In the tips that I've given you, live in the now. And let's look at an example. So let's say you were invited to do a public speaking event with a small group, okay? So you're gonna live in the now. Now, I have the invitation, okay? Now I'm going to give thanks. Maybe I'm afraid of public speaking, but I'm going to give thanks for the opportunity. Number 3, I am going to affirm. I know my information that I'm speaking on. I am going to affirm before I even go on stage. I know the information that I'm going to speak on. I know how to speak to people. So now I just have a crowd. I'm going to affirm before I go on that stage. Next, I may talk to my mentor or my coach to help me get motivated and pumped up to go on stage, to get a few more tips. And then finally, I take action. I do it even if I have some fear. I do it anyway. I get on stage and I do it anyway. Now, when you do those 5 strategies, you'll see how the fear starts to subside. Each new step, each time you do those five tips, you find, I'm not as afraid as I once was. And guess what? I'm going to throw in a 6th one. I'm going to give you a bonus. Another way to overcome fear. Look at your diet, exercise, and sleep. If we are properly eating, if we are nourishing our bodies the right way, then we are able to release some good hormones that will make us feel better, that will encourage us, that will give us energy so that we can move forward and overcome our fears. Proper sleep, exercise, diet. That's your bonus one. These are all tips to help you overcome your fears and stop having those life blockers. I am Stephanie Nchege, and as always, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.